Hey guys, it's Misty coming back from the V-Dubstore. Today we're going to have our quick tip about CV joints, CV boots, and swing axle boots. What I really want to just try to go over in this video is how to understand which one you have. Again, I know a lot of guys are like, well, what do you mean you don't know what year? Listen, cars have titles that don't belong to them. Bodies have been switched, put on different pans. There are so many factors. Then let's not factor in the fact that a lot of people do performance upgrades that change a lot of this kind of stuff. So when you hear me say some people don't know it's what year their car is, it's not necessarily that their title, says one thing, but it doesn't mean that that's what's on the car, okay? So today we're going to try and show you ways to pinpoint quickly what it is that you have. These little tips and tricks are for if you're trying to order a part to help you not order it wrong without having to disassemble the whole car in order to figure out what you have. So we're going to start with IRS. Usually we start early, but we're going to start with IRS today. So on an IRS, this is your typical CV boot. IRS is always a two-piece flange, and your CV boot pretty much always looks like this. Either of these have that same design. So your bug CV joint, typically there's no humps. It's totally smooth on the flange here. We'll get into dimension next. The bus has usually these humps or these extra lips here, so that way it helps strengthen the CV joint. The CV boot. So on a Beetle, you have a smooth flange, and on a bus, you have a raised flange. It goes all the way around the boot. Now, if you have your CV apart, you can dictate which one you have as far as size. Your Beetle is 90 millimeter. Your bus is 100 millimeter. As you can see, there's room to move there. Now, how do you understand if you have a swing axle or IRS just by looking at the car? IRS, now we're going to pretend that Misty has an axle here. IRS has one of these boots on each side of the axle. Swing axle, say this is the transmission side, is going to have one boot going this way. Okay? There is not going to be a boot at the brake drum side, only at the transmission side. And you can think that people know this, but I cannot tell you how many times we've gotten cars in here that have swing axle boots on IRS. So, not everybody knows. So again, Beetle IRS or bus IRS is going to have one boot per side of the axle. One at the trans, one at the drum. Swing axle is going to have one boot only at the transmission. Now, we're going to talk quickly about different swing axle boots. Swing axle boots come in a couple different variations and looks. These are my 9916. Okay, got it out of the bag. The bag was creeping me out. These are your 9916. You can see these boots are like super soft. They're really good materials. Your 9916 has a double groove. I still always suggest putting some type of a sealer in there. That's going to work with the gear oil. Kind of zippers closed. And then it comes with the hardware to then put through these holes. I'm trying to make it so you can see it, black on black. You're going to then zipper these holes closed. Now, one thing that I want to mention is you don't want to over tighten these. Now on this 9916, it's kind of hard to over tighten them. They really do have this reinforcement on this side that actually snaps in on this side. As you can see, that's a depression, and this one is raised. So on this boot in particular, they just literally snap together. Okay. But not all boots do that. And if your boot doesn't do that, you got to make sure that you do not over tighten these bolts. And you shouldn't over tighten them anyway. They're really just there to kind of hold place. Okay. So that is your normal swing axle boot that you see. There's also ones that do not have the bolts. You have to have the transmission apart in order to change these and put the slip-on style. However, there is also this style boot. If you're running a really lowered car, if you're running in an off-road vehicle, or anything where your axle travel is going to be significant, this is the style boot I always suggest. These have a tendency to get ripped because of it. So if you've got a raised or lowered suspension, even if you have a stock, these work for stock, raised, and lowered. Okay. When you are buying your CVs, again, Beetle is 90, Bus is 100 millimeter. You also want to remember to grab the torque washers and the bolts. Most places and people like the 12-point serrated. You can still sometimes find the 6 points if that's what you want. But if you are buying bolts, grab the tool. The tool is only a few dollars. It's one of those things that people get the bolts home and they don't have the serrated tool. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, just reach out. Always here to help. Remember, we have our text app, which is 570-284-2447, or you can call 570-788-0930. Again, with the text app, just because many people get worried about sending a text, it does not go to my cell phone. It goes to my computer. So when I am here, I get your messages. When I'm not here, I don't know you're calling. I don't know that you're texting. So don't worry about disturbing me. Just send me the pictures, send me the questions, and then when I get in the morning, I'll send you a reply. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe.